Do wrestling newsletters and internet reporting expose the business or preserve wrestling history, Harley?
I think about a 50-50 combination of both. It's, I don't know how you could or would try to control what's out there today. I know it's a whole world different than the way it used to be, and whether that's for the good or the bad, it's, who's to say?
If it was in our day, I would have found the newsletter very offensive, and I would absolutely not cared for them at all, and I would have never would cooperate with them. I would seem to disappear. I want them to disappear. Today, I don't blame them. I can't blame them for what they write and everything else, because the organization itself is the biggest expose of the business itself. When you have had the McMahon to do away with the commission and come, they say wrestling is all an illusion, it's make-believe, it's this, it's that. You know, then how does a newsletter hurt anything when the organization itself says these things, talks these things, you know? People have asked me often, is wrestling always the same? I said, no, it was not always the same. I said, don't judge my day of wrestling with what this guy has turned it into. There are two different worlds of wrestling, and there's no comparison between the two.
Bruno, is it really important for a wrestler to stay behind after his match, watch the other workers and the rest of the show, or is it perfectly fine for him to have his match and then leave or do whatever he wants afterwards?
Well, it all depends on how long he's been around. And in my case, I can honestly tell you that when I was a preliminary boy, I would watch the matches before I went in the ring, and I would watch them after I got done with my match, because I was very curious. I wanted to learn, and I wanted to see how, you know, and that's where I've picked up my ideas as I went. When I saw, like I told you, people that, don't get me wrong, great talent like Rock or Carpathia, but this is where I learned a little bit about repetition and all that kind of stuff. And this is where I thought that if I ever got a break and if I ever became a headliner, that's the one thing I was going to stay very conscious of, not to be that repetitious. And I tried not to be. Like I said, if with a brawler, I could have been a brawler. I was a wrestler with another wrestler. Depending on what the other guy was, I tried to be. And that, I thought, kept you kind of interesting, and you were a little different every time. Because when you have to repeat, like I said, month after month, and in some cases, every 2 weeks we used to run Philadelphia. When you have to do that for a long period of time, you know, you can't be very repetitious and last.
Harley?
Well, what he's saying is exactly true. If you don't know what's happened before you, and you go out there and it becomes repetitive, and no matter how great you're doing, it's not going to come across to the people. They say that's the same thing. It's a repeat. My situation for a long time, and what Bruno was just telling you there, was if you don't know what's going on before you, you've got a big problem. And I had to take that thing and go virtually 90% of the time for 1 hour. So you could blend the whole card back into your match if you got that amount of time to go. But if you pop out there and you're just like what was there, you ain't going anywhere.